Yes on 36. Yes. Okay. Now welcome the mayor of San Jose, Mahan. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here with so many community leaders and elected officials. I just saw my colleague Biendone just arrived. George Casey is running down. It was soon to be our colleague down in District 10. Margaret Abe Koga. Right? I could name, if I named all the elected officials and candidates, we'd be here all day. So I'm just going to thank all of you for taking the time to be here to stand with the community. This is an amazing event. We also have the DA from San Mateo County, DA Wagstaff here, which is impressive. And I just want to share very quickly why I'm supporting 36 and why it's so important that we are organized all the way through Election Day. And I'm leading one of the 2 Yes on 36 campaigns. We cannot take anything for granted. Even though this measure is common sense, even though it is widely supported by voters when they learn about it, the opposition to this measure has already raised over $3 million and going to try to scare people into thinking that this proposition does something that it doesn't. So why are we for 36? I'll give you a very quick history lesson. When we passed Proposition 47, it was with very good intention, and there were a lot of good reasons to do so, but we learned over time that there were significant unintended consequences. In the last decade, since we began implementing Proposition 47, which you'll remember decriminalized nonviolent property crime, drug crimes, what have we seen? Well, we've seen drug use and overdose death skyrocket. We now last year had 12,000 Californians die of overdose. The leading cause of death for Californians aged 15 to 44 is now drug overdoses. We saw, prior to that, when 47 passed, the evisceration of our drug courts. We saw statewide participation in drug courts decline over 60%. At the same time, we saw unsheltered homelessness go up nearly 60% when it is down in a majority of other U.S. states. And of course, we have seen rising retail theft, vandalism, car break-ins, property crime, particularly in our cities where we have seen that increase in overdose deaths and unsheltered homelessness. Guess what, folks? These issues are deeply connected. We are failing our wider community. We're also failing those suffering on our streets from addiction, trapped on the streets, stealing to fund an addiction, and so forth. It's time to break that cycle. We need intervention. We need to give judges tools to mandate treatment, to get people indoors, to get them the help that they need. And for those who are unwilling, who repeatedly victimize the community, there must be accountability. There have to be consequences. That's only right, it's only fair, it's common sense. If we're gonna get our state back on track, we have to bring the pendulum back to the middle, restore balance, and give our judges tools to hold people accountable who are repeatedly victimizing the community and get people the treatment they desperately need for their good and the good of all of our society. So I appreciate you all being out here. I strongly believe in this measure. Despite what you may hear, I'll end on this. The independent, nonpartisan Legislative Analyst Office report makes very clear that this is not going to break the bank and it's not going to return us to the era of mass incarceration. It is a very thoughtful reform, and it will bring back that balance, but the data is very clear. We have a $300 billion budget. They project worst case scenario, this may cost a couple $100 million. We saw nearly 40,000 people reduction in our incarcerated population. They say at the worst case, it'll add 3,000 or 4,000 people to those who are incarcerated. And those would be the folks who are so troubled that they would likely have to face the sentence of death on our streets from overdose were we not to intervene. So we should be clear that this is needed, it's past time, and I appreciate you all standing up for this. I want to thank Tony, I want to thank Jason, all the organizers. This is a tremendous effort. It's going to take this online grassroots, ongoing grassroots organizing, getting out those signs, talking to our neighbors between now and Election Day. Let's go past Proposition 36.